I want to share a story with you guys. The other day, I got pulled over on my way to pick my daughter up from school. The cop approaches my vehicle and he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I'm like, "I don't really know why you pulled me over, but I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me." And he said, "Because when I passed by you, I could see that you didn't have any stickers in your windshield. Why don't you have any stickers in your window?" And I said, "Oh, well, I don't have stickers in my window because my windshield was broken, and I went and got my windshield repaired, and they never gave me any of my stickers back. So now I'm riding around with no stickers, and it looks like I don't have any kind of inspection on my car at this point in time." I said, "But I actually have the inspection. It's just that my window was broken, and as you can see, it's a new window with a new." He said, "Well, do you have a receipt?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't have a receipt at this point in time, but I'm pretty sure I can get a receipt, right?" So, I mean, he was cool. He was real cool about it. He was like, "Well, I got to figure this out. Let me go back to my car again and see what we can figure out here." I said, "All right, well, do you mind if I go ahead and make this phone call and call my wife to pick up my daughter from school? Because I don't want her to be left out there alone. I'm, waiting. Dad is normally never late, so I don't want her to be afraid that nobody showed up for her." So he was like, "Nah, cool, do your thing." All right, so I'm like, okay. Scrolling through my phone after I call my wife, guy comes back up to the window. I mean, of course, I figure like there's nothing that he's going to be able to find wrong in my situation. But he still comes and he gives me 3 tickets, right? So I'm like, okay, what are the tickets for? And he explained that he had to give me the tickets for not having the inspection and stuff like that in the window. I said, all right, cool. But he was like, what you could do is just go ahead and plead not guilty. And then once you produce the receipts or something like that, then don't worry about it. This will all go away. It won't be nothing. But I'm like, all right, it's cool. This guy, he was very nice, very nice. So then after he gives me the tickets, he proceeds to walk back to his car, and something was bothering me about this officer. I kept looking at him like, man, this guy looks awfully familiar. So I waved him back up to my car, and when he gets to the window, first thing I ask him is, "Man, where do I know you from?" And he was like, "I don't know." He said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, as far as occupation, I do warehouse management and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if it's from there." I said, I'm a high school football coach, but it's not." I said, "But before I was a high school football coach, I was a youth league coach for many, many years." And he goes, "Oh, okay." He said, "Where'd you coach at?" I told him where I coached at. And he was like, "Well, I actually played there back in the early 2000s. And I'm like, okay. So I throw some names around. And he was like, "Yeah, I know who that is." And I was like, "Okay, well, if you know who that is, do you know who the Twins are? Because they played that same year." He was like, "Yeah, I know the Twins." I said, "Man, those are my kids." He was like, "Oh," he said, "Okay." He said, "I know who you are now. And listen, like I said, go ahead and plead not guilty to this, and we'll take it from there. This is not even going to be a big deal." So I'm like, all right, cool. Now, I said all that to say this. I never thought that I would have that kind of run-in with an officer just to realize that this was one of the kids that I actually coached when they were younger. And it filled me with pride to know that this man, the way he carried himself, how polite he was, how he was a servant in the community, just was beyond me. Like, oh man, this guy grew up and he seems like a really good guy. Now, I'm not saying that's all through my coaching, of course not. I mean, of course, there's parenting involved and stuff like that. But what I'm saying to coaches out there is that you have to make sure that you're mindful of what we're putting out there in the community. And if we start them out young, doing the right things, showing them how to be responsible, showing them how to be respectful and stuff like that, man, that stuff comes back around 360. So we have to put in the work on the coach level, not just to get out there and win games and stuff like that, but to show just the value of being able to be a responsible person, being able to show up when you're supposed to show up, being able to know how to talk to somebody. Like he displayed, should I say, He displayed all those things. I was proud. I mean, I still got 3 tickets, but I was proud of who I was looking at as a man. And I just hope that a lot of guys out there who are being coaches, whether you're coaching boys or girls, whatever sport you're using, that you're using that sport as a vehicle to be able to produce positive human beings. Because these are going to be the people that's going to be in our communities, the people that we're going to live next to, the people who are going to be our police officers, the people who are going to be our politicians. So be mindful, coaches, that this is where it starts. So just know, winning games doesn't make you a good coach, but winning the hearts and minds of these young kids in order to show them how to be the best they could possibly be is what a coach does.